Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Cinepro Film Show. I'm Dalton, and Daniel and Josh are here with me today.
I saved your life.
I don't want to be here.
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't want to be here much
I don't want to
longer.
be here much longer.
What kind of name is Wolverine?
Don't watch Smiling Friends.
My
I
name.
plan on
What's
it.
wait? What's her real name? I don't know, like Marie or something. Marie
Rogagar
Antoinette.
Rentagon?
My name's Marie Antoinette.
My name's Rogagar
they cut
Rentagon.
off my head.
When I touch people, they die.
Hey, you guys see my cat?
It's like 9/11. What?
That reminds me of that tragedy. Come on, dude. Don't laugh at 9/11.
911.
I was there.
That's the number for when you call when the police.
Not here. It's
Huh?
99
Oh, like the police, like the band, the lead singer, Sting. He was
He stunk.
he was in he was
He was a wasp.
he was Josh's dad, and he was also in David
Yeah?
Lynch's
Yeah?
Dune. He was Sting looks like Josh's dad, but also he was he was the Elvis guy in David Lynch's Dune. He did that little dance in his speedo.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, Don, do you know what the number for the police is here?
No, why would I know that? I've
Like
never called the police.
69 something. Yeah, we don't dial 911.
999.
I was gonna say that actually,
I figured it was all of
but
my
I
number,
didn't.
was my assumption.
Right.
Before we get into the episode, we watched X-Men 2000 is the movie that we watched. Before we get into it, go ahead and send this to someone you know who you have a sneaking suspicion might be a mutant.
Oh,
You know, like they're a little funny. You know, they might be a mutant.
sure. Send this
Maybe
to
they
someone.
can run across water.
Or maybe they can. Yeah, maybe they run on water. Maybe sometimes you're playing basketball and they'll throw the ball to no one, and then they'll
And then
suddenly be there,
teleport?
and then they'll catch the ball. And
Yeah.
it will seem blatantly like cheating, but it's okay because they're a nerd, so they don't win much.
I'd love to see that in actual basketball, just like superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron just throws it to nobody and then teleports across
I think
the
that's
court.
That's
I
pretty
believe
much
that's
what he
the-
does.
I think that's the plot of
Space Jam.
Like
Space Jam. Not quite, but
The only thing,
but the
no, the only
Space
thing I know
Jam Don
about,
Cheadle movie where Don Cheadle turns into the big muscle CGI
and
guy.
he says,
That is
he
that
says
is pretty
it's
much
the Goon Squad.
he says it's
He does say
Cheadle
that.
time. He says
And it's also-
I'm Emmy nominated actor Don Cheadle.
I
Why
was
am I
in
doing
Blood
this?
Diamonds. Yeah, go ahead and send this to. Go ahead and send this to an older homosexual.
Oh, sure.
You know,
sure.
you got one of those probably.
Or an older disabled bald man,
Doesn't have
a
to be
bald
bald.
man you know in a wheelchair. I
Maybe
guess
older
just,
bald guy or older disabled individual.
Make
sure,
sure he has
either
a
or.
lot
I
of
mean,
chest hair.
ideally both. Yeah, and ideally, all of these men have a lot of chest hair.
Correct. They're
and it's
old.
all white.
I like that
Yeah.
that's the takeaway from watching X-Men 24 years later is everyone has so much chest hair.
Well, they do.
Also, and we'll get
Yeah.
into the chest hair thing in just a second. Also,
Will
go
we?
ahead and send this to a toad.
Oh,
You know?
specifically if you know one that's been struck by lightning.
Right. Or
But-
catch a toad, and next time there's a
Oh.
storm, if you have a tall house, put it on the roof and watch it.
I
I think that counts as animal
wouldn't
abuse.
do that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's animal abuse, and
After it
we don't
gets-
condone that.
Well, after it gets struck by lightning, go ahead and
Right.
take the toad, and then put this episode of the podcast on your phone, prop it up, and force him to watch it. Like staple his
Again,
arms
That's
down.
just
Don't
more
do
animal
that
abuse.
again. That's 2 counts of animal abuse.
Yeah, well, if it's
and
a
I don't
toad,
I don't
toads aren't
I
really
don't sue.
animals.
Well,
You have a dog.
Yeah, but
You
I
are a
said
dog.
toads. I said toads don't count as animals, Josh, and your response was you
I
have
thought
a dog.
I thought you said I don't have any animals.
I don't think that sounded like
So,
what you said. So X-Men 2000, X2000. Josh
X-Men.
is here. He's back.
send this movie to a British person.
Good one.
They don't exist.
Yeah, we got one. There's British people in this movie. This movie's kind
Send
of
it
about
to-
Yeah,
British
send it-
British
people.
people are the
It's
new
about
gingers.
well, I was gonna go with this movie is about a group of people who are
That was
oppressed,
the-
and the British are the most
Well, that was-
well known worldwide oppressors.
That was the
Like
craziest
they've
thing
oppressed
about,
the most people, I think.
That was the craziest thing about
statistically.
rewatching this movie. I was like, damn, I forgot that half the mutant superpowers made you British.
I don't-
Well, and everybody's fake accent in this movie kind of sounds British too. Like Rogues at a couple points sounds a little British. Storms sounds
Well,
British.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's just
Rogues
because
is Rogues is more just on and off,
I think
and
that part-
varying degrees of Southern. Storms is all over the place.
I think part of that is also because during watching this, we tried to impersonate their accents, and it turned into the Beatles halfway through.
I mean, I did one where I tried to do a Canadian accent, and it sounded a little Liverpudlian, as you'd say,
Which
but
is a stupid way to say that.
which is nonsense.
You
Like,
speak nonsense, Josh.
just,
There's
just
a lot
shut
of,
up.
There's a lot of like English accent terms: Liverpudlian, Scouser, Brummie.
Okay, all right.
Hey, I'm
You
saying
cannot.
this.
You
all,
cannot.
All we
you
have
can't
is
say that.
American.
No,
we got
Brummie-
American
Brummie,
accents, and that's it.
Brummie are
Right.
people from Birmingham, I believe.
You mean Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Hey Josh, how do you say? Hey Josh, how do you say the name Bernard?
Bernard.
Is that true? The name's
I-
spelled Bernard.
I wouldn't know. I've never met a Bernard in my life. That's the
Oh,
first
okay.
time I've had to say the name.
Is it really?
Is it really?
Yeah. That,
Oh,
I know
okay.
that I know of the Saint Bernard, the dog that was in Beethoven, the film.
He was the Beethoven dog was a Saint Bernard.
It's a-
Also,
it's a
I
But he
believe-
believe.
from
didn't
the
say
depths of my
Beethoven. He
mind.
said Beethoven.
Right. Well, Ludwig von.
Look at that. Good old friend.
My dear friend, my close
Dear friend.
personal friend.
I put my soul on the tracks, like shoes did.
But yeah, X-Men 2000.
X-Men
Fun
2000.
flick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
liked
2,000
this.
movies.
2000.
We
I
didn't watch
I
the
didn't
first
see
1999.
1999, but I
And one of these times I make that joke, it'll be funny.
I thought
not
it was
this
pretty good the
time.
first time. It's gotten incrementally less funny each time you've made it. You've been making that joke
Yeah,
since
that's how it
Blade.
goes.
No,
Shaft.
Surely longer. Surely longer than
Yeah.
either of those.
yeah. No,
But,
looking
yeah,
back, I
it's-
haven't seen this movie in a very long time.
Same.
It holds up much better than I thought it would. Going in, I was like, okay, it's going to be a little nostalgic, it's going to be a little fun, but it probably won't hold up. But it did in a lot of ways. Other than the fact
Yeah,
that
it's a
Bryan
real-
Singer directed it, I think it held
Well,
up.
sure. He's, a bit of a nonce, as the Brits would say.
Is there a special word for somebody who is attracted to children in
I
English,
think
Josh?
we should say allegedly.
That is
he wasn't,
nonce. That's
like,
the
proven in court.
Colt.
sure.
He wasn't proven
Sure,
in court.
Well, whatever. Alleged nonce. Bryan Singer made this movie, and then they brought him back to make more movies.
And
Well, he
Superman
wasn't. He
Returns?
wasn't known back then.
right.
Right.
Well, he was known when they brought him back, though.
Was he?
No, I think so.
I think so.
I thought
think
it was
wasn't
much
he wasn't he
later.
wasn't he fired from the third one because of the
I thought he got
no,
me
no,
too.
he dropped
or was it
out.
unrelated?
He dropped out of the third one to direct Superman.
Oh, sure. Was
Yeah,
that
I think he
really?
got me too'd like years later.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that the Bryan Singer stuff came out like within the last 5 or 6 years, I think.
500
I do
years.
still like it was still before one of the
I'm sure there were rumors.
right.
I wonder
mean,
if he
either
was
way, like
supposed
Josh
to-
said, if it was
I wonder if he was supposed to come back
who
to
cares?
do
Point
first
is,
class.
he's
Not first class.
Maybe.
Days of Future Past. That seems like they would bring him back
He-
to do it.
he did,
He,
didn't
he did.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, Bryan.
yeah. Vaughn only did.
Bryan Singer's a problematic person. Let's just say
He's
that.
yeah. He just allegedly touched some little boys.
He was in that episode of The Entourage.
Whatever.
I wouldn't know. You're the
Okay.
only person who's seen Entourage.
I don't think that's true. I think it was a very successful television series.
Either way,
The only person. Yeah.
either way, the movie itself is just kind of a fun little time capsule of pre-MCU superheroes.
And what an era it was.
Sure, yeah.
Like there's a handful of movies that you could say that about the MCU with. You know, it's Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Blade. But
Honestly, some of the early MCU movies feel like pre-MCU movies.
well, yeah, 'cause
Sure,
they
they still have that.
they still have the like embarrassment of having costumes and
right. And
uh,
there's something I don't know.
I do think that I don't know that's had sort of gone away by even by like Fantastic Four. Like once they put them in that blue spandex, it was pretty much like it was
yeah,
all
but
it was
even,
all it
even
was
then they
anyone's
tried
game.
to
Yeah,
like
it
it was
was
like a
Spider-Man.
muted blue and
Sure, like
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
was the
also,
first
yeah.
one where it was like, okay, he's in his Superman had his costume. You can really trace it back.
He always did, yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
this is Marvel, you know. They
but
were going off
like,
Blade.
Superman Returns. They mute the colors of the costume.
Sure.
Um,
And yeah, even with like Iron Man, yeah, it's like it's muted, it's a little grungier. It almost always seems dirty, like
right. Probably wasn't
he's fighting Jeff Bridges in that
Avengers, the first Avengers, where they really started to embrace comic book costumes. Captain America's like his
I don't
Avengers
feel like
costume from the first one.
maybe even Thor a little bit.
Yeah, but Thor,
Like,
they
Thor
don't,
was a
they
different.
don't
It was
give
a
him his
different kind
helmet.
of silly. I thought first Thor was the only one he had the helmet.
I
Like
think
he
he
didn't
just
actually
carries
wear
it.
it,
Yeah,
but
he
it
just
was
carries
like
it.
he
Yeah.
like
no,
wears
he
it in like a
wears it
flashback
bit,
or
he
like
wears it a bit when they're fighting all
one
the ice
scene.
giants.
Yeah, he probably wears it in the opening. Then when he gets kicked out, he doesn't get it, and then he never gets it back.
And then yeah,
But yeah, it's not just the costume things. It's also like these movies.
it's a lot of like attitude.
Right. Well, they're
Right.
embarrassed to be making a superhero movie, so they like overcompensate by trying to make it a really good action movie or a really good
Right,
sci-fi
right.
movie, and that's really where this one falls. Is like right in between action and sci-fi, which I miss some aspects of that. Like Daredevil is another example that didn't do that as well. Like it was like, okay, we're embarrassed to be making a comic book movie, so we're gonna make a really good sci-fi movie or action movie.
Right.
And this kind of does that at the same time, but I think accomplishes it better in terms of doing like an action sci-fi kind of thing. But it really does, like, not just from comic book movie standards, but just movie standards in general. Like this movie is pretty good. The story's good. It's
It's good as like an introduction because you know there's the
It-
X-Men
it-
TV
yeah.
show, but
right.
if you went out to the general like public and you said, you know, do you know the
Like
X-Men?
people did not. I mean, outside of like comic nerds, because like the 90s, like that was a very popular time for X-Men comics. Like
Yeah,
that was
a lot of the
that was
famous,
that was
like-
the X-Men times. There was the animated show also, of course. But so there were nerds, but for a general audience, this was introducing the X-Men. Yeah, and I like you guys all kept pointing out while watching this, like oh wow, this is such a stupid way to show there's power. Like why would they do that? It's like because how else are we gonna
people
know
don't
they have
know.
their
Yeah.
powers? Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and-
know, we've seen these movies. We're nerds. We know these characters.
Yeah,
but
but I will say, and we'll get to
this
that.
is a movie.
little
Like
later on.
they
Some of
they're
them
super
were over the
silly,
top.
and we'll talk about it a bit. Yeah, of course.
The ones
Some
that
of them
weren't the main characters. It was like, okay, you know what I mean?
See, I feel like it was the ones that were the main characters that were the ones that were
towards the end of the
silliest.
Movie, towards the end of the movie, it was the ones who were the main characters. It's like we're still showing off their powers. Like,
Well, it's like,
we
okay,
get
well,
it. You
just-
move
just
metal. You don't have to move the
real
syringe with
quick.
your mind.
real quick.
That
like,
was the beginning of the movie.
if we just rush
That was
through
the introduction to her
if we just
character.
rush through the powers they show.
I
us in
was
this
talking
film,
about Magneto.
Oh, with the on the
Yeah,
train
yeah,
he
on the
does
train,
that.
yeah,
No, I liked that one. That one was fun.
if we just like rush through the powers they show off, because like, you know, obviously there's the
We
ones
get
like
we get the
Wolverine and
begin.
Rogue,
Yeah,
the
we get
usual.
the well. It opens with Rogue, and we'll sort of speed run the beginning. It opens with Rogue. She comas her boyfriend by kissing him because she sucks life out of
like
people.
life
Because
force,
this
She's just
this character was like made by some sexist man probably. It's like, oh, my whore wife, she's sucking me dry. She's sucking all the money out of my bank account. I'm gonna make this comic character that's this lady that just sucks the life out of everything.
It's kind of a shame because like Vogue, at the
Oh,
very least in the
Stanley.
animated series and the comics and stuff, like she's just a really cool character, and she's got a lot of agency. She's a very like confident person, and in this movie, Vogue just kind of sulks through most of it, which makes sense for what you're showing off as like a teenage girl with like superpowers that just
Right.
make you kill people essentially.
Yeah.
But I like
Well, she hadn't realized that she can just wear gloves all the
she
time.
could just
yeah,
wear
you know?
gloves. That's fine. That fixes all of her problems.
I don't
Right.
know much about Rogue outside of these movies. Are
There's
her powers pretty
something
comparable?
There's a lot of stuff in so
There's
in the
there's
animated
something
series.
with Captain Marvel. I remember from the animated series.
Yeah,
where that's
so
that's
in-
where she can like fly, and that's
she
probably in the
she
comics
takes
too.
Captain Marvel's powers and leaves her in a coma, and then gets all of her powers. Which
So
is
is
why
that
she,
all?
like,
Is that
flies.
ultimately just her power, just to put people in comas?
Essentially to put people in comas and steal their life force / power.
Right, and power, yeah.
Which is
Cool,
why
cool.
Magneto wants her because he's like, I don't want to be stuck in no giant spinning wheel of doom.
Right.
But
Also, I
the-
can't take people's powers. Oh, he wants her to take his powers. Got it.
Yeah.
I watched the movie.
Yeah.
Don, I think you don't understand the film.
We just watched it.
Wait, but you didn't understand the film while we were watching the film.
No, I got
You,
it.
you just
What do you think is happening
what do
right
you
now?
think is happening? You just kept wondering why
Rogue.
Magneto wanted to kill all the humans and also make
Wait,
them
I get it.
into
She's
mutants.
Rogue.
She goes Rogue.
Rogue One, the Star Wars story.
But yeah, there's one kid who
The
runs
bad
across
guy from the
water.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
He runs across
Jesus
water.
kid.
There's the teleporting. But no, we'll talk. Let's talk about the main characters introduction. So we get Cyclops when Rogue is stuck with the
The
seatbelt.
seatbelt, and he just blasts the
So
seatbelt off.
yeah, which that one made sense in context. Admittedly, it was stupid and silly and a blatant way
As
to
a-
show
as a,
his
like,
powers,
5
but
second introduction.
it did
works.
work, and it was on the subtler end. Then we get Jean Grey levitating the little
The
needle
little
syringe.
needle thing across
Yeah,
the table.
it's like right there. She
And
could
then
have
Storm-
easily reached over.
Storm like makes a snowstorm to like hide their tracks or whatever when they throw Sabretooth.
See, I didn't mind that one. That
Right,
seemed more like a
that was
cool use.
cool. Yeah.
There is the shot of Wolverine where it just like it's a locked off shot holding on him healing.
Yeah,
That
so it's like
yeah.
he's walking towards the truck.
That
I
one
think.
I like. Like it looked silly, but I liked like seeing his like metal skull underneath.
Yeah, and it's cool.
And
Plus,
and also like all of them, it's no
an
one knows these
introduction.
characters. We have to establish these things about these characters.
but
And then there's that girl that runs through the walls, and
Kitty
and
Pryde.
later she's Elliot Page.
Right. So she will be replaced in the next movie.
Yeah.
There's
And the fire and
there's
ice
there's the guy who's
guys.
just in class and decides to make a fireball for some
Yeah,
reason.
and then the Iceman,
Freezes it.
Aaron Sean
Aaron
Ashmore,
and/or
Jimmy
Sean Ashmore, one of them.
Jimmy / James Olsen. He turns that fire into ice, into a flame shaped ice
He
sculpture.
turns a gas into a solid ball of ice.
Which
that
I mean,
then drops-
admittedly, if he can make ice from nothing,
I mean,
which
if you
we
have the power
established
to
is his
do that,
power,
yeah.
he could do. It's just super weird.
It's just super weird, yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
'Cause,
I mean,
he
that
does make he
describes-
makes the little turd rose later.
That-
He does. It
describes
doesn't
half
look like
her
a rose
powers.
at all.
It just looks like poop.
It does. It looks just like poop.
And then you've
that's
got-
all
you've
I
got-
could think about. He just gave this girl poop. Because there's no way she knew it was a rose. Could you imagine you're just flirting with a woman? You're like, here, I made you a nice turd.
And then you've got all of
Well,
these
that's
versus,
actually because he's actually a gay man, so he was actually trying to push her away. That's
and then
Iceman
you've
lore.
got
He's
all of
homosexual.
these characters versus woman who can turn into anything and/or maybe steal people's powers. Magneto.
Sort of, but they're not really their powers. It's more just like her body that it hurts if it gets cut off. So,
Uh,
which
um,
it should have showed her like bleeding from her knuckles or something, like something weird to show
Yeah,
that
it
like
should have
was
been,
But her
like-
fingers were still there when she
her
turned.
well,
so
right, like
didn't-
it
wasn't
wouldn't have been her
fingers.
finger. It was like almost as if like she extended her knuckles
skin?
and turned them into
Yeah, because like
fake
she
blade.
turns.
like it's nothing. It's nonsense. It was just to have Wolverine fight Wolverine because that's
Because
you know,
that's
it's
cool.
cool.
We're
It's
gonna do that
awesome.
for the next
No.
25 years.
Right.
it's foreshadowing for Logan. You know, they were thinking about
Right.
it this
it
early
was
on.
set up.
I
yeah.
feel like they did it in more than just Logan, didn't they? Didn't they do that again?
I mean, you could argue that he does it in
I mean,
Origins because he fights.
yeah, I mean, Sabretooth is
and-
basically him.
Deadpool.
Deadpool is also basically him. Yeah.
Uh,
Who cares though? But yeah, they should have explained Mystique's power a bit more or been more specific with it.
Well,
but who
and I get
cares,
what they were trying to do. They were
ultimately?
trying to show the powers as opposed to explaining them. Because they go in a lot of detail in explaining mutants. Like they explain what mutants are over extensively. It's the intro, you got the court
Right.
scene. They keep explaining mutants. So they don't want to spend all this time explaining each mutant's powers. And so I get what they were doing. Like let's just show it.
Yeah, no, I get. I'm showed her.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like if there's one who you should probably explain, it's Rogue.
well, they explain.
No,
Rogue.
Rogue. She just sucks powers. That one's.
Yeah, like we don't really know what happens to humans.
I'm
when
just.
she touches them.
I'm just on the Mystique claw thing. That they didn't like. They didn't do
didn't
any.
explain
Like it
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
Explain that a little, even if it was just you show a little blood on her knuckles. She got like it was she made new finger claw. Who cares? Like ultimately, who cares?
Ultimately,
Why
who
are we
cares?
doing
That's
this?
the point of this movie.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
no, I do
so yeah,
think-
let's talk about the plot. I guess.
Yeah, I think my issue with the plot of this movie is it doesn't really have like a central. Rogue is supposed to be the like we're seeing this world through her eyes character, but then also so is Logan.
Right. It was supposed to be It was supposed to be
I
Rogue,
have
but
to
then
imagine
it's
it was like it was Rogue originally, and then they reshot the movie because I don't know, people didn't like connect with Rogue as much, or they
Well, 'cause-
connected with Wolverine more.
right.
Maybe, yeah. I just think had they, I don't know. I think that would have been the biggest improvement that this movie could make is maybe making Rogue a little more of a charismatic character and casting a different actress and maybe just get
Well,
a Southern
I
woman.
understand. I
I
mean,
mean, I think
Anna Paquin's
Anna Paquin would've
charismatic.
been fine. It's just the way that she's written and therefore play.
She-
Like
yeah,
Anna Paquin's a fine actress. She
She's
can
fine.
play.
Yeah, she
a-
can't
a
do a Southern
charismatic-
accent.
Well, no, but that's also
No, but you know, I think it had it been a little more subtle, she could have pulled it off. Like there were times
I mean, she
because
was
it did vary. It was
she was
strange.
like an Oscar winner at 8 years old or something really
Okay,
young
what-
like that.
Yeah, but
whatever.
yeah,
that doesn't mean
I
anything.
won a spelling bee at 8 years old, and I have to make corrections on every email I,
I
send. You know what I
right.
mean? Like that doesn't mean
I need
anything.
autocorrect to
Right.
write a sentence.
Correct.
Like,
But yeah, no, I think
Auto.
I'm not saying she's not like you can keep her. I don't know, like writing that character a little better and then centering the movie kind of around her being entered into this world would have
Well,
been
no,
a fun
'cause
way to do it.
yeah,
I do.
Make,
I
because
also,
she clearly is the focus point of the plot. She is the MacGuffin person for the MacGuffin
well,
machine.
yeah, but,
but
you
they,
don't,
and they don't make her the focus of the story, despite her being
well,
a central.
I don't know about that because they do.
Like it opens with her and she's like,
Well,
yeah,
not
but
only
it's
that, but
and
like
just that she's not very good. Like
well, it's not only that, but also like they focus on both Wolverine and Rogue, and they set up the whole story to be like, oh, Magneto wants Wolverine, he wants Wolverine. So you're drawing the focus there,
Right.
and then you get that twist that, oh, he's actually after Rogue, which, like, yeah, we know because
Sure,
this movie's
yeah.
been out for 24 years, and we've all seen it before.
We've seen the film. We know
Yeah.
we know
It's a quarter
But
of
it's
a
like-
century old.
If you
right.
were watching that for the first time, that would probably be quite a shock to you because you know, especially now, and if you for some reason had some kind of brain injury and weren't aware of the past 25 years of X-Men films, like
Right.
you'd probably think, oh, that's Hugh Jackman, that's the famous guy. He'll be
He
the
wasn't
main
that
character,
famous
so
at
to speak.
this point, though.
No, but
Well,
I'm
he's
saying, like,
he's
if you watch
saying
it
if you have a
now,
brain
yeah.
injury and you know who Hugh Jackman is, but not his thing didn't make sense. But I got
It-
it.
it-
I get. I'm
it
picking
was
up. Yeah.
No,
The plot
I
is
just,
lost.
I get what you're saying too, Josh. Yeah. In this movie, I'm not saying this is like this movie's bad. I love this movie. I just wish there was a little more of like a central. Here's our main character. There are eyes into this world. We're going to explore them and then get to know the X-Men through their eyes. And they sort of
Yeah,
did that
I
with
think it's-
Wolverine and Rogue.
They did it
They-
with
they do a
both
bit
of
of
them,
both.
and it was a little like it was like they couldn't decide which one to
Right.
focus, and
Yeah.
maybe that's because of of some sort of reshoots, rewriting thing, and also
Like
the twist
test
that's
audiences,
test
you know.
audiences, something with the twist,
Could've
like
been the
maybe in
twist,
an
it could've been the-
maybe in an original version they were never setting up Logan to be the thing, maybe Logan was the one that was
Yeah,
going to
and
power
then-
it. Either way, like
It could have been
something
like,
changed,
Hugh
and it
Jackman
like
was just really charismatic on set, and they decided to
Sure,
to
well,
focus
'cause-
on him more.
right.
Who knows? Point being, I think in hindsight, that's the only thing in this movie that I would really be like, yeah, we should work on that.
Yeah,
That's the other
and I
thing
think
about this film.
even if it was just like I don't know, focus, because they had a decent amount of focus on the relationship between the two of them.
I like their relationship a lot.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it
Yeah, and it
works,
can
yeah.
it continues throughout the movies, which is nice. It extends into the the Rogue cut of X-Men: Days of Future Past or whatever.
Which we'll get there.
We-
Extends
we
into
might.
it extends into X-Men 3 where they're like, there is no cure for mutant, and then she's like,
Right.
I
Oh
kill
wait, we
people
have
if I touch
a
them.
cure for mutants. Yeah.
Where it's like the girl, the one who controls the weather goes, we don't need a cure, we're good the way we are. And she's like, I literally can't touch people without putting them into a coma.
I have never felt the touch of a man.
I've never felt the warmth
Right.
of another human.
Without killing them
Do
or
they
putting them
establish-
into a
Do they
coma.
establish in the later movies like when your mutant powers develop?
They say like typically it activates in
Varies,
puberty.
but probably around puberty. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I
'Cause
think they
was
say
thinking
in
like when she's a
X-Men
baby, how did she not just kill her parents
No,
instantly?
I think they say in like X-Men 2 that the powers kind of come through at puberty for most people.
Gotcha.
Like there's some
I mean,
variation.
pretty much, yeah. It's whenever it's needed for the story,
Yeah,
you know,
Magnetos
like
came
anything
through when
else.
he was 10 years old because his parents were
Right.
being put into
Well,
a
he was
country
Sure,
being
there's also
ostracized.
trauma,
Trauma
like
and-
that's
yeah.
a inducing thing. I remember that from Deadpool. They taught the British guy, he tortures him, and then that one the one racist WWE lady, she's there with the matches.
UFC.
What? Who gives a shit?
Josh! Haven't you missed this?
It's
Not
good.
so actually.
Yeah. So Magneto, he's got those little balls. She goes home, shoots him up his boyfriend's asshole.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh.
And send this to Ian McKellen. Send this podcast to Ian McKellen if you know him.
I was talking to someone who worked with Ian McKellen.
I was talking to Ian McKellen.
I called him on the phone and I said, you should meet my friend Daniel.
Yeah, and then I talked to him. I said, "Yo, what up? We're three cool dudes."
We're four cool dudes on a podcast. He's here right now. He's got his camera off and he's got his mic muted.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah, but
listening.
hold on. I think we can get him to unmute it so he can say something. Hey, Ian, you wanna say hi to the audience real quick?
Metal. I've been metal. I've
I can't even-
McKellen and I've been metal.
Wow, Ian, your voice sounds a little rough there. You got. Do you have some kind of mask on or something? Like what would happen if you took that mask off, Ian?
I'm Magneto.
That's what we're praying for.
I'm
Ian
Jewish.
McKellen's
Hey,
in
Ian.
hospital.
Hey, Ian. You look like you're a big guy.
I'm
Ian
Jewish.
McKellen's in,
You.
I'm
Ian
Matt
McKellen's in fucking
Juto.
hospital.
All right.
A man
What's the hard J?
Who died, Josh? Who died? Oh.
He's in hospital.
He's
Rest in peace.
fine. He's fine. He's doing some Shakespeare play on Broadway. He's
Yeah,
perfectly
and he fell off and
fine.
broke his wrist.
He did not.
He broke his
did.
wrist. I get he's 97, but still, he'll be fine.
87.
Is he only 87?
He's only 87.
That's crazy, dude. That's the
Uh,
wildest thing to come out of this
That's
discussion.
crazy.
I think he's 87.
How?
No, he's 85.
Good Lord.
How old? Okay, so 85.
So he was
only
61.
He was 60 in this.
That dude.
That's
oh my god.
crazy.
See, he's always been old. You were laughing when we said he's always been old. One of you said it. The other one laughed.
I
just
said it. I was
there.
like, he's just always been old.
I think I
Yeah.
laughed because I was like, well, at one point he was young, but
But he wasn't.
He just
He
wasn't
never
young.
was.
I'm sorry. Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's old. That's
61?
old man.
That's only
yeah.
10 years older than my dad.
Right? Yeah. That's an old man.
He was 10 years younger than my dad in this movie.
Wild.
God.
No, wait, he was 10 years older than my dad when it was being filmed.
No, wait. Actually, he was about 1,050 years younger than your father.
dad.
He, I looked it up. He was born in 1939 and my dad was born in 1949.
Oh, yeah, that's a little lore for the audience. Josh's dad was really, really old.
Rest in peace.
Right.
May he rest in peace. Sweet
Roger
guy.
Roger the Wino, immortalized forever in
Wine
some
Man,
bar in
please.
Spain. Oh, was it Wine Man? Sorry.
Roger
Wine Man.
Corman was Josh's father.
Right. Sting from Police.
That's crazy. I can't get over the fact that he was only 87 when this movie came out. Or no, he's 85
Occasionally,
now.
Malcolm McDowell, if you ask Dan, too.
Right. Mr. Clockwork Orange,
Mm.
of course.
So we've established all of the characters. The plot basically centers around like Rogue and Wolverine meet, and then
Yeah, Ro hitchhikes. She hitches her way to some hodink town in Alberta, Canada. Wolverine is Alberti, as Josh would say. Yeah,
from
Wolverine is
presumably
fighting.
the deep
It's-
south. Where is she from? Is she from like Texas?
I don't. It's said in the beginning. I don't remember. It was like Mississippi or some shit.
Yeah, I think it's like
That's a long way to go. Why would you go all the way to Canada? How did she get across
Big-
the border? Does she have a passport?
This is pre 9/11, man. Like,
Yeah, you could just
Well,
go
yeah.
anywhere. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
I think she was just running away from home because she felt
Well, yeah,
ashamed.
but still. Go
well,
to,
she combed that guy. Yeah,
Yeah, she
I
did
get, I
comb
get
him.
it.
Sure,
The
yeah, but still,
the Great White North. I get it. It's.
I mean,
yeah,
I feel like I'd go to like
maybe
Minnesota.
she was trying to get up to Alaska, man. That's the
Well, yeah, I
last
assume-
that's
I
the
assume
last
she was,
true
like-
American frontier, man.
I assume
That's
she was
true.
just trying to get out
There's
into
gold up
somewhere where
there.
there was like no other people, so that
Sure.
she could live alone, so she wouldn't hurt anyone else.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. She was just. It's whatever, man.
But
it was
instead
so
she
that it
found
was
a
so
hairy
that it was
man.
so
It
that
was so that she could meet Wolverine.
she could meet Wolverine, who is from
Right.
Canada. Yeah.
Right. I forgot. I
But-
keep forgetting.
The whole,
But yeah,
the
so
whole story
Wolverine is
just
fighting some guy.
basically-
Then some other guys are like, "Hey, give me money, man! You stole our money. You're too good at fighting, and you beat me, and so
And he
that's not fair."
says- He says, "I missed the part where that's my problem."
Right, and then he cuts that guy's shotgun, and it's awesome. And you see the claws come out of his fingers, and it's also awesome.
But the shotgun accidentally shoots his uncle.
I don't think so. I think that was Patrick Warburton. He goes, "It was Peter, Peter." Peter, Peter.
I'm
I'm in a wheelchair now, Peter. Professor X, Peter.
The whole
I'm gonna
movie
go into a
basically is
coma so that this movie can happen. Otherwise, I just end up, Peter. I'm sorry, man. It's just there's nothing. Like we already talked about everything to talk about in this movie. We can talk about the plot. Let's talk about the plot. So
That's what we were doing.
Okay. Well, they fight in there's the thing, and then she sneaks her way on. He says, "Hey, you should really wear a seat." She says, "Hey, you should really wear a seatbelt." Also this van trailer that you live/travel in looks like shit. You should be ashamed of your living quarters.
It's actually awesome. It's an F-150 with a camper built into it.
Yeah, no, it is pretty sick. And she gets in and she just takes a dump all over.
No,
She gets in, she eats his dip.
She eats his beef jerky. And says, "Why your place looks like shit." He's like, you can walk if you want. I saved your life.
I saved your life.
Which, like, she really didn't. She just kind of said
No,
stop after he
she said, "Hey,"
two people.
She said, "Hey, look out! That guy has a knife."
Okay,
And that made him draw his claw knives on him. She didn't know about the healing thing.
Right.
It probably. So it seemingly, yeah, she.
in her mind,
saved
I
him,
can
sort
see how
of.
she got there. But she said,
I saved your life.
She says you should put on your seatbelt. Instantaneously, they crash.
Like a tree
launches.
falls. It's so funny. He just goes flying out. He skids across the snow. He does the Peter Griffin Master Chief death pose, and then Sabretooth is there and throws him around a little bit. He's played by Tyler Mane, Josh's close personal friend, Tyler Mane.
Who just came back from Deadpool and Wolverine.
He got his head cut off for Deadpool and Wolverine. They really did that. They killed him
Spoilers.
to make that movie. Did you just spoil the Deadpool and the Wolverine for me? Oh my gosh.
Remember when Blade was in it? Do you remember
No, I thought he retired.
Do you remember his catchphrase from that movie when Ryan Reynolds says?
Oh
"Hey,
right, he
you're
says,
retired."
"Yeah, some motherfucker's still trying to ice skate."
No.
You guys
When,
get that?
when Ryan Reynolds says, "I thought you were retired," do you remember what he says?
Oh right, he says, "I don't like you." Oh, he says, "Yeah, I don't like opening my eyes on Blade Trinity."
I'm not gonna open my eyes on this one either.
No,
Just put sunglasses
Ryan
on
Reynolds
me.
looks at him and says, "I thought you were
Oh, shut
retired,"
up.
and he
I
goes,
don't care about you anymore.
says-
I'm
he
gonna
says-
disappear in 3 seconds
he
if you
says-
don't shut
"Retired."
up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what does he say?
He
Me
says
and Dan
retired.
can't remember. We
I
we
just
can't
said it. I
remember.
said it twice. I'm not saying it a third time. Retired.
Yeah?
I said it a third time.
Yeah, me and Dan can't remember.
That one
so-
got Daniel. I could tell he's trying not to laugh, but I saw the little corner of his mouth twitch out.
No, I was just thinking, like, what if I just had like a big old bucket of tar, like hot tar, and I just like poured it on you, and then I had another like bucket of like feathers, and I poured those on you, and then I chased you around town with a pitchfork, and I like forced you to go out into town,
I'd go.
and all the townspeople came out of their little stone homes, and they threw various fruits and eggs and garbage at you, heads of lettuce,
I feel like I'm
maybe.
having a panic attack. It feels like I've been having a panic attack for the last 15 minutes.
Come on, man,
I'm
it's
not gonna
fun.
lie to you.
It's fun.
I'm having more of a panic attack now than I was when my father was dying. Like, this is what it feels like. I feel like I'm reliving those memories.
all over again, buddy. And that's an average episode of Semi Pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's like, man.
I'm gonna put that in the
Relive the worst memory of your life with the Semi Pro Film Show.
Semi Pro Film
But
Show.
that one's going on a shirt.
This is the Semi Pro Film Show. It's like your loved ones are dying again.
Good, that's the tagline. That's
I mean, that's it.
it. Yeah. So the
They
X-Men.
wind up at the school.
Yes, the X-Men
mean,
save them.
we
They
can-
go to
we
the
can-
school.
we can go through-
I'll blaze through this beginning. Shirtless Hugh Jackman, not on steroids yet, but still muscular, just in an average man way.
Very good early
Famke-
2000s muscular.
Right, very hairy chest, but not as hairy as Patrick Stewart's old man chest.
No.
But Famke Janssen levitates the. She's best known for playing Xenia Onatopp in James Bond. She levitates the needle, and then she just gets stabbed with it, and then he runs around. He runs around the house, and Patrick Stewart's talking to him, and he's running around. It's like a dungeon at first, then it's just this mild mannered house, and then Elliot Page walks through the wall, and he says, and then Charlie Patrick Stewart, he goes, I've got mutants here, and we're the X-Men.
I'm Patrick Stewart. We're the X-Men.
We have the X-Men, and you can be one of the X-Men.
Teaching physics.
And
from
I'm
my
going
wheelchair.
to read your mind and find out that you have metal bones and drop some exposition. And then that all happens in the exposition, and there's like detailing on the metal bones or whatever.
Yeah,
And
they're really
Well, it's-
detailed for some reason.
The wildest thing about this movie is it just kind of made me like. I don't know why, but it made me realize how well cast most of these roles are.
I was
Like-
gonna mention that. At
oh
the
yeah,
end.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Probably one of the best cast comic book movies ever. Like I don't.
Yeah, like there's no one in particular who I'm like, oh, that person was miscast or poorly done, or
There's
Right.
a few who I think.
I
were
mean, I could
poorly
say
done.
poorly done. Like I'd say, at least in this movie. I mean, Cyclops throughout the whole movies. I don't know
He's
anything
kind of
about
like
him in the
he's a
comics,
wet
but
towel.
I know he's not a cuck douchebag.
Right.
Or at
And he
least
is in
he's not.
this.
At least he's not just a cuck douchebag. Like he might. That might be an aspect of his character
But
in the
he's got
comics.
more
It
to him,
has
you
to
know?
be. But there's more. His brother is MacGyver or whatever. Like
yeah,
there's something.
That
yeah.
took me a second to
That's a
like,
good one.
connect
It's a
the
bit of a,
dots in
bit
my
of a
brain.
bit of a
Little
deep
deep
cut.
cut,
Yeah, yeah.
Mainly because I forgot that he played MacGyver.
He forgot that they made a MacGyver remake. Yeah.
Also,
And it's in the
like-
same universe as NCIS and what was the Tom Selleck one?
Blue Bloods.
Magnum PI.
Oh.
Yeah, the Blue Bloods.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I did not know MacGyver crossed over with Blue Bloods. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's just it's what's his face? Lucas Till's MacGyver. He just walks into a Blue Blood scene and he says, "Hey, that's Donnie Wahlberg," and then
And
he
Donnie
leaves.
Wahlberg is flipping burgers, and he goes, "Hey, get out of my,
Hey, do you
get out of
want a
my harbor."
Wahlburger?
Oh.
Hey, head down to the harbor, go give me some chat.
I think everybody's pretty perfectly cast. I don't like Rogue's characterization.
Rogue
ton.
isn't
That's
written
a-
great.
there's-
Storm is nothing, and she has that stupid accent and
So-
wig.
And wig is
But
so
Halle
dumb.
Berry is a fantastic casting choice.
Yeah.
Fantastic actress.
Once she
She was
drops the accent,
Catwoman
she's
for
great.
Christ's sake. I mean,
She was.
No,
in-
I think like
she
There
played
are-
basketball. She beat her boyfriend at basketball as Catwoman.
there are
Like, come
there are-
on.
There's poor characters, but they're not poor actors, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, the way
They're not poorly
written-
cast. Yeah,
The-
it's
yeah,
just
like-
it's just a writing issue.
Like, James Marsden is a very talented actor, and if you gave him a good script, he could be a fantastic Scott Summers. It's just in this movie,
Or
most of
dropped
the
his government name. That's great.
most of the time he just kind of spends it like staring at Wolverine and being
He's
like,
just- he's
"Please
just
don't
a
have sex with my
Hey,
girlfriend."
Douchebag, that's all
hey,
he is.
Dan, can we reenact the scene real quick? The one scene. You can be Wolverine. I'll be Scott Summers.
Well, what are you gonna tell me to stay away from your girl now?
If I had to do that, she wouldn't be my girl. You dummy. I hate you. Stay away from my girl.
I'm
still
gonna
understand
cuck you
that.
and have sex
So
with your
she's not your
girlfriend, and
girl.
also you probably.
The sexual tension is
It's
palpable.
yeah, they
Me and Dan
like
didn't do it justice.
right.
cut it with one of Wolverine's claws.
Maybe.
Yeah, or even with one of his bone claws from X-Men Origins Wolverine that somehow
The
get
bone claws
into
then.
knives. How did that happen? How did they get
explain
turned
it
into
in
these?
X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No, they don't. It doesn't make sense. At least.
They don't explain it in X-Men Origins.
They try.
How do they turn into knives?
They run
What
through
What
a
do they?
sharpener.
They file them down and then fucking plaster on metal?
Here's the
No,
thing.
after
What
they,
are they
turn
fo-
into metal, they take an
They-
angle grinder and they sharpen them.
Here's the thing.
They
don't-
they
don't-
layer the adamantium. They make Damascus steel.
They don't explain it in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but that goes on to a running point of they don't explain anything in these movies.
Reference.
They just kind of things happen. They just kind of go okay, like
Yeah, that's
when
true.
the senator turns into a fish man, and they just kind of go.
What? No, he turns into what? He turns into H2O. Excelsior superfans, my new superpowered water man, H2O.
And what if-
Mild mannered, Harry Henry, Osborne.
Harry Henry Obinkle by day, H2O by night. There's 2 H's in his name and his last name
And he's
starts
got
with an O.
gills on his back. But hey, check it out. It's like Wolverine from. Hold on, I'm gonna try and release this spring-loaded knife
Don't
from the middle of
stab
my
your
hand.
finger.
I'll try. Check it out. It's like Wolverine.
Yo, he's giving me the finger. He does that at the end of the movie. We're at the end
Yeah,
of the
it's
movie.
like a Wolverine reference.
We're at the
We're
end
at
of the
the
movie.
movie's over.
We're at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
We're in the
Well, I
Statue
mean,
of
here's-
Liberty.
Here's the
Yes,
thing.
uh-huh.
The movie falls into the same trap that a lot of X-Men movie falls into, which is just it falls into the
Well,
trap of being an X-Men movie.
Rogue gets stabbed by Wolverine, and then she steals the powers, and then
And Mystique
then
gets her
Mystique
into
pretends
running
to
away.
be Aaron, or Sean Ashmore pretends to be
already
Aaron.
said Ashmore.
Sean Ashmore. Aaron Ashmore pretends to be Sean Ashmore, but they both played Jimmy Olsen. One of them played James Olsen. But yeah, there's some gaslighting to get her to leave, so that Magneto can steal her.
Steal her, yeah.
And then
he does steal her, and then they
And
all go
he
hunting
hits
for
her with that thing.
And
they
they
all
but they
get loaded up
realize-
in their leather
A
suits.
frog
no,
gets
no,
talk
struck
about
by
how
lightning.
Just before they have to sideline Professor X, otherwise the movie's over too easily.
the goop, the green goop gets
Mystique
it. The green,
also uploads
green
green
brain
goop
goop.
to Cerebro,
yeah. She
which-
turns her eyes into his, and then green goops him,
and then he tries to use Cerebro, and
he
it doesn't
gets
work.
gooped. It
Which,
comas
okay,
him.
This is gonna seem like a bit of like a nitpick, maybe.
Yes, it will.
If there's a villain who can read your eyeballs, and you know that one of your arch nemesis henchmen can transform into
can
you,
do that.
Right? No, I was
why would-
just thinking that.
Why would the passcode
But also,
be your
like,
eyeball?
what would be the what is an alternative
A
that she couldn't
passcode,
give me?
make it numbers.
I mean, I guess just a normal passcode. Doesn't look as cool though if he's typing
it
it in
doesn't.
though.
That's the point.
Like,
That describes the whole movie. It doesn't look as cool if he does. If
No,
he just
what-
like
what
right.
genuinely
rolls
describes
And
this whole
also ultimately the movie can't happen without
that's what I was gonna say.
without his brain getting
If I
comaed.
had one nitpick of the writing of this movie, and I'm sorry to Solid Snake for this, but
David hates the voice of Solid Snake for X-Men.
Yo, why
and
is he
that's
a
just
hater?
fun.
Why is he a hater, man? Just enjoy stuff. You don't
Well,
gotta hate everything, Dave.
That's
The-
because
the-
Solid
what-
Snake works for the Lali Lule Low, and they.
okay, well,
That's not. Look, I don't know anything about Metal Gear Solid other than Hideo Kojima is a pervert, but that sounds like a pretty fun-loving organization. Lale Lula, that's you can't not have fun saying that. How is
Well,
that?
they-
How is that a hating
They're
organization?
both. They're called the Lali Lule Low, but they're also the Patriots.
how do you say that so confidently? Like, how did you just use that term without like flinching? No, everything. Well, I guess you're British. You're used to it. Everything that happens in this movie, everything that happens for the convenience of the plot.
Well, yeah.
For sure. I mean, that's
There's that one.
And I
like,
know
there's
that's
that one
every
scene.
movie, but
that is just a movie, but especially
especially
X-Men
this one.
movies,
Well, there's that-
especially with Professor X, because
There's that
that's
one scene.
he
where-
he is quite literally the most powerful mutant at
But
least,
it's like,
probably.
why did
There's
Rogue
the
go
Marvel
to Canada?
character.
Why did Rogue go to Canada? Oh, because the plot
Right,
needed her to go to
because she
Canada.
needed to meet
She needs to
Wolverine.
go-
Yeah.
Everything that happens, it's like, well, the
Like
plot needed it to
there's
Sure,
that
happen.
one
sure.
scene where right after they kidnap Rogue, they walk outside of the train station where there's all the cops and stuff, and Professor
Oh,
X he takes control of Toad and Sabretooth, and instead of using those to just get Rogue to like a safe place and then deal
Or
with
just
Magneto, or
just
deal with
fully
Magneto.
incapacitate Magneto. Yeah,
Snap his
just like
neck, dude.
don't snap his neck
No, no, you
because
don't have to-
the
just
point of the
hit
character
him.
is that he's like he's good. He
Pacifist.
doesn't just kill people. Yeah, he sees the good even in his arch
That's the whole point.
nemesis.
He wants to
But
see
like,
the hope in
just
Magneto.
hand over the mouth and nose, dude.
Or
Say-
crack
say-
his
dude,
spine, put him in a
Ti-
wheelchair.
I mean, that's just at least, but no, I mean, Tyler Maine's big ass hand, just put that over his mouth, like
No,
30
just have
seconds and he's
Tyler
out,
Maine's-
dude.
You don't even have to do that.
Or just choke him
Tyler
out a
Mane-
little bit,
Tyler Maine's big ass hand.
Just a
Just
little bit,
have
just
him
enough to
take
get him
off the
off.
mask,
right?
Take
Or
the
yeah,
hat,
just
take
take off the hat, yeah, huh?
and then
Yeah.
you can control him. It's very easy.
Right.
But no, you do get that one.
But then the movie wouldn't happen.
yeah, but then
so.
the movie would be over. But also you get that cool scene where Magneto takes all the police guns and he's like
He
gonna
does. He
shoot
does take
them.
all the guns, and the
Awesome.
cops just stand there. Even the one cop who's got a
There's
bullet
one
pressing
cop who
into
gets
his head.
shot, and you see the
who's
bullet
just-
like dig into his
It
forehead.
like it's super cool. Yeah, Professor X, he's like holding it back. Magneto's
And once
talking
again,
some smack.
We all said, why don't the cops just run away?
Just
But then
leave,
there'd
just-
be no movie.
Right.
Like, it's
That one cop-
everything.
The one cop who has the bullet going into his head doesn't think, "Oh, I should back up a little bit."
I
and
should
move
just,
the
I should just
bullet
move,
away."
even just
Lean
move a little bit or like to the like something, dude. Fuck.
But like that's the whole movie, and it's
It's
not.
the whole
It's not
movie.
a bad. It's not a bad thing in that.
And it's great. Like this movie's
It
this
works.
movie's
Yes,
great.
this movie's
It
great.
works. Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like when you put aside the fact that you're seeing the X-Men, you've got all these cool like unique powers, you've got all these dynamics and everything. Once you put all of that aside, you are left with like a really bare bones story that just has step by step by step by step.
Which
things
is
need
fine.
to happen.
But
Which,
it's-
yeah,
the
perfectly
explanation
fine.
is always getting to the end point, which once again is
Right.
fine, but it's a little silly when you think about it. You know what I mean?
It's a spectacle movie in a way. Like you're watching it to see Wolverine stab and fight Mystique in the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, you're watching this to see Wolverine fight Wolverine, and to see the X-Men fight, and to see Storm electrocute a Toad, and
I
ask
will say,
and
you're
inquire
we're
what happens to
also-
said Toad when
we're watching
is
this
struck by
movie
lightning.
25 years removed from when it was released, in an
Right.
era where we've seen so many spectacle movies that we're probably a
Right.
little
And-
cynical and sick of them.
And not
Sure,
even just
sure.
spectacle movies. We've seen so many X-Men specific spectacle movies.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, Deadpool
Right,
and
like all of
Wolverine
them.
just came out,
Yeah,
and you could argue that was a big spectacle movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
For
and
sure.
then just comic book movies in general
Arguably
have kind of turned into that.
spectacle.
Like,
You know, you got like Endgame, Days of Future Past. That was a huge spectacle movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
they had them big
And
robots
that's
in that
fine
one.
because the movie still
They had
holds
them
up.
classic
This
X-Men
movie,
robots.
for sure, as we're kind of like concluding whatever, this movie for sure,
it's-
we don't need to break down the plot in detail because you've seen it.
You've seen
this
the
movie holds up.
We've talked about it enough.
If you
Yeah.
haven't,
we haven't
seen
we
it in a
haven't
while,
talked much.
Watch
I
We
the
haven't
say
talked
go
much
see it.
about the Statue of Liberty.
Disney Plus probably. They're on the Statue of Liberty. Sabretooth gets thrown off and hits that boat.
Maybe, guys.
It looks dope. Probably not, because he can heal.
But he never appears
he
again in
doesn't
any
come
of the
back.
movies
Well, until
doesn't, no.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
until Deadpool.
Right, well, I guess he got sent to the Deadpool
when they
Loki
re-release
void,
this
I
movie
guess.
on Disney Plus, they should just have like a Doctor Strange portal open up
Vroom.
right above the boat, and he just falls into that. Same with Toad. Instead of going into the water, he just flies into a Doctor Strange portal.
Right.
They should do that
know.
with everybody who gets thrown in any pre-MCU Marvel movie, so that whenever they
exactly.
want to use them, they can.
The ending of Blade Trinity is just Wesley Snipes being picked up and thrown into
Right.
Yeah.
It's
the void.
instead of the CGI eyes opening, it's him. He's laying on that like coroner's table or
slab.
whatever. Yeah, the metal slab, and just underneath him the portal
Did you see
opens
the
up and
sparks?
he
That's
just fall-
all.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
you
just
don't even have to
gets
see him fall. Like the
sparks.
sparks cut to black. At the end of
Yeah.
Daredevil, when he like that, you know how it ends on that scene of him like jumping through the city. He just
Right,
jumps
right.
yeah.
He's doing all those
into
flips.
a portal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it with every pre-MCU Marvel movie.
No, but this like, in a lot of ways, you are just kind of you're watching this movie to get to that finale where the big machines
Right.
going off. There's a big like effect.
All the stuff, the stuff is happening. You can see, it's getting closer to all these people. They're gonna get turned into water fish mutants. They're gonna turn
They're
into
gonna turn
water
into
and
mutants.
die.
And you got like you get like Storm versus Toad, which it's not that it's not underwhelming when you see Storm flying and just hovering with the
Oh
white
yeah,
eyes that
it looks
you have in
bad,
After
but
Effects.
it's still cool.
Yeah, right.
The After
Storm's
Effects
effects
screen.
are especially bad in this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You see
Like,
Wolverine
stand out
fight
bad.
Wolverine. You see
Right.
Magneto captures them all with like metal on the wall, and they have to
Yeah,
use their
yeah.
minds to problem solve the way out
Yeah,
of
and
it.
it's,
Like
he puts
Right, we get the
Scott
fun-
and
we get the
Jean
funny
facing each
school
other, and he takes off his glasses, so he has to be like, so like
Yeah.
you can't open your eyes because you're gonna kill the person you
can't
like.
open your eyes unless your girlfriend floats your glasses at the right
Could you
angle to
imagine-
hit Sabretooth.
Could you imagine if that scene had gone the way it went in the train station when they removed his visor then and he just blew up a building?
He just destroyed her.
He's just like, "Fadoosh," and then he closes his eyes after her head is gone.
It just-
He's like,
it
Gene,
cuts back to-
Gene. He can't see anything.
Jean, I can't hear you.
It cuts back to her, and it's just like her top half is the skeleton,
Oh, yeah.
and her bottom half is just.
It's just,
completely
yeah, it's
unchanged.
But it's not heat.
Logan's
It's
Logan's
force,
just
Josh.
covered in
What-
he's
her
just covered
skeleton
in
would be gone
blood.
because it's not heat. It's force.
It's not. It's a
Right,
kinetic.
it's-
That's the word. It's a kinetic beam.
You're a kinetic being.
Thank you.
No problem,
Um,
man.
But yeah, like even the.
This bottle is made from 100% recycled plastic.
But yeah, like the movie's
Core.
still fun.
Perfectly
you see-
balanced pH
when
plus
Wolverine
purified
when
water.
Wolverine's fighting Sabretooth on top of the Statue of Liberty, you're just going like, wow, that looks cool. He
Wow,
Except
that's
for that
Sabretooth,
one
that's
scene where it
Wolverine.
doesn't. You're going, wow, that looks cool. Wow, that effect holds up. Or wow, that looks really bad.
What
That's
was
kind of
that
the
one?
three-
There's the effect of the guy becoming a water
The
man.
dude
Looks
fully turning
great
into water was
until
really
it
cool.
didn't.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it was still.
Even
pretty
it was
good for
weird, but it
the-
was also just it was like you said, it was just an uncanny valley thing.
Yeah, it's like-
that
it's like
has no man has ever turned into water,
yeah,
so
you're-
we can't imagine
At
what that
least
looks
not in
Never
like.
gonna
front
get
of
that to
me.
look.
At least, yeah, I've never seen it. You know, if seeing is
Yeah.
believing, I don't
Send
believe
this
that
to a
shit.
guy who's turned into a bottle
send
of
this
water.
to a man who's
you're
turned
never
into
gonna
water.
Get that looking 100% good because no mind can comprehend a man pushing through bars and
Now,
just
what about a
squeezing
man
Right.
flying through a train? Because that was the worst effect in the movie. Was when Wolverine just goes through the back end of the train. Yeah, send this to a man who's turned himself into water
And died.
and died, presumably.
I mean, not necessarily though.
That's another one. The sparks start floating around the water.
they bring back water. They bring back H2O.
And he's got a costume, and it's just a big H on the chest, but it's made of leather like the X-Men costumes.
I'd love
But
for that.
instead of an X, it's an H. Oh, we didn't talk about the costume.
Oh, and he's got holes for his gills on the back.
Yeah, the costumes in this are,
They're
there's always
wonderfully
the
designed.
that's the yellow
They're
spandex joke, and they're I don't want to call them relics of their
Stupid, but
time,
it's-
but
yeah,
they are
they're
representative of
they're
their time.
2000s leather. Yeah, they
The
are.
material is a relic of its time. I would argue that the design
designs.
is ahead of its time.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
the-
More
like,
Design-
so
design
than
is
X2.
cracked.
I was looking at the costumes for X2, and they don't keep them. They
The
change a
X2
lot.
costumes
No, they
are
have
just
they have like
generic.
do they have like
levels, right?
the X on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all wear pretty much the same one. Whereas in
And
this
yeah,
one,
these ones are more
This
like
one they're much
personalized.
more individualized for
they're
sure.
basically
Yeah,
they're
like
all
the-
based on their comic book costume, but they're
Right,
black
just-
leather
just
and
the
made, yeah,
Wolverine
the
one
black
has
and-
like spikes or stripes. or
He's
whatever.
got well I think they all sort of have the like stripe patch, but he's
Yeah,
got one defined stripe.
He's got that
And
one,
then he's got
ones on
the
his
side
side
side tiger
And
stripes.
like
Yeah.
Cyclops has the giant X going over its chest. I'm pretty sure one of Storm's is like a slight reference to the comics or something. Like the piping goes across her
She's
shoulders.
got
in the
some
same
sort
way.
of some sort of lightning type thing,
She's
yeah.
the
And I
only
think
one with a cape.
they're She's got the
She's the
cape.
only one in a cape.
I think. Do they all have? Are they all different? Like the little
The
bits of
colours are
different
different.
colors.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I know
it's like
Wolverine's is
Cyclops is
yellow.
blue.
Right.
And then
I think
Magneto's
Storm's is
design
white.
is wonderful.
Storms is probably what? Oh, Magneto's is so.
Oh.
It's so simple.
Oh, it's
He also
perfect.
wears that drippy James Bond jacket earlier
And
on. That
the
goes
jumper.
hard.
It's
Yeah,
a
but
sweater.
then, yeah,
it's
it's
a
just-
sweater. Yeah.
Yeah, the sweater. Yeah, whatever.
And,
Same word. shit,
And then
nerd.
yeah, like he's got like a turtleneck trench coat. It's super
Oh,
sick.
Yeah, it's like a turtleneck, like
It's
then
like,
like
a shirt.
it's almost like a
that's tucked in to the same color pants.
yeah, and
But
well
it's
then
got
it's
a
also
cape attached to one.
it's got it's like
arm.
it's like a cloak more than a
Yeah.
cape almost because it flows like
yeah,
a
but it's
like a
attached
coat.
all the way down
Yeah,
one
it's-
of his
it's-
arms, but not the other one.
Mm.
Oh,
It's
out of
super
curiosity, have either of you two ever seen the concept art for Magneto in the for this film?
No, but it's funny when you say concept art though.
If you want to take a look real quick, I'll add a little
Yeah,
graphic in.
Let's
Yeah,
wrap
go ahead
this
and,
and then we'll look after.
Oh, that's funky. I'm seeing it, but
But yeah, no, I think a lot of this movie is it's worth going back to if you haven't seen it in a while. I think I
Sure,
remember
yeah.
X2 being the best of the original trilogy.
Right, for sure.
right.
So
well,
talk
it's
about that
got
next week.
Wolverine puts the cigar out on his hand. You
Right.
know.
We'll check that one out next week. Josh, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. I'll see you next week. It's going to be wonderful. Sorry I reminded you of your father.
Yeah. Send this to your father if he's still alive.
Hey,
Or
tell your
if
dad
he-
you love him.
if he's
If
not.
you have a good relationship. If he was a piece
Yeah,
of
or tell
shit,
your dad
then-
you hate him if you don't have a good
Yeah.
relationship with him and you
And
need to
if-
get that off your chest.
and if
Maybe you
maybe
need that
it's-
emotional release.
and if
And maybe it'll be good for both you. Maybe,
Yeah, for
maybe
sure.
you know, maybe it'll, whatever.
and if it's been a while and it seems like he's kind of, got some things together, maybe reach out, Maybe he's
Right.
maybe it's a chance for you guys to rekindle not the same relationship you would have had things not gone down, but a different relationship,
Yeah.
There's always a chance that
Or
something-
maybe he'll die.
Yeah.
So send this to him before he dies. Send this to your dad before he dies.
Yep.
Send
that's
this to
all.
your dad or he'll die.
Correct. Step on a crack, break your mom's back.
Break your mother's back.
And
But she
then-
might not die. She'll just be in a wheelchair, maybe.
While her back is broken and she's in the hospital, put this on the TV so she has to watch it.
Oh, then she can't change it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on the next episode of Semi Pro.